Brothers and sisters, it's been a long day here, and I've been wanting to make a video on St. Martin de Porres, this incredible Dominican brother in our order, one of the great sons of St. Dominic that shines as a bright light in the church. I mean, how could we even capture his life? Nothing short but miraculous. We could speak about so many things about St. Martin. I suppose at the time where he experienced such racial discrimination, where he, experienced being rejected by his own father and shunned, instead of responding to that with hatred and resentment, and he chose to go another path, and that path, in fact, all those wounds and those sufferings upon him made him a saint, made him, in fact, sensitive and compassionate, and turned him into the very opposite of the very people that were sinful towards him, that were discriminatory towards him. And so St. Martin, many people relate with him, whether it's racial injustice or just injustice in general that people experience because of who they are, or, just because of the gifts that they might have even, or talents that they seem to exemplify God's goodness by, and so people are jealous, and all these things that we all face in different ways. But St. Martin can be a real model to us to continue to shine and continue to go to the Lord and find our deepest security in Jesus, in him. St. Martin is known to have prayed, I think, something like 8 hours a day before the tabernacle. He had this tremendous sense of the living Jesus in the Holy Eucharist, that Jesus was his friend, and he wanted to just be with him and see him as much as possible and spend time with him as much as possible. As Pope Benedict once quoted Edith Stein, Saint Edith Stein, as saying that, if somebody who truly believed that Jesus had become totally and utterly present in the Holy Eucharist, if that person believed that and had normal feelings and sane thoughts, the logical outcome would be that they would want to visit Jesus in the Eucharist as much as possible and whenever possible. Those were the exact words Pope Benedict said once. And so, as much as possible and whenever possible, obviously in view of duties and whatever. But this is source and summit of our faith, and St. Martin understood this. It's being near to Jesus in the Eucharist, where he receives spiritual life. He would be charged up by being with Jesus. He received the incredible energy and life force for his intense apostolate. So being with Jesus was no means an escape into kind of a self-enclosed world, quite the opposite. St. Martin had a huge ministry in Lima, to the poor, to the afflicted, to the sick. He had, the gift of healing and discernment. He lived almost like a doctor as well, and so he had a keen sense of awareness of the needs of others, and so St. Martin is known for his incredible miraculous abilities and gifts, that the Lord Jesus was so alive in him. And at the same time as St. Martin, there was St. Rose of Lima, another Dominican saint, and St. Juan Macias, another Dominican saint. Three of them lived in Lima at the same time. They built up a spiritual friendship and a network between themselves that encouraged each other towards sanctity, and they made huge impacts on their society, and even to this day. I mean, my whole time in Ireland, I met so many people who had told me about the incredible gifts, blessings, miracles that they received even through the intercession of St. Martin to today. His miraculous power continues in heaven. I give you one example, a true story, and it's about a refugee, a political refugee I met in Ireland. Might have shared this before, but he was in a sort of an atheistic regime, and he himself became an atheist. He stopped believing in God. One day, feeling very low and desperate, he actually walked into a church, and there was a statue of St. Martin. He didn't even know who he was, but he knew he was a saint, and he just kind of said to him, well, if you're a saint, and you're supposed to be alive, and Catholics ask saints for things, prove to me that God is there. And within 1 or 2 days, he was home in his village, And this lady, who was actually his wet nurse, who nursed him when he was a young boy, she was like a mother to him. He went to her, and he told me this, went to her, and for the first time she spoke to him about God and about faith, and she normally never spoke to him about it. And then she said to him, come with me. And she was apparently a great mystical, spiritual lady, and she was praying her prayers that day before he came, and she had an apparition of Saint Martin. And Saint Martin told her exactly what he had said to Saint Martin in the church. And he said that, that you asked me to prove God to you, or God is real. And he said it was like the whole world just became bright with light, because faith entered his dark heart, his sinful mind, and illuminated him with the mystery of God. And so this is an example of the powerful intercession of the great Saint Martin.